All right, hey guys, welcome to this week's live stream. My name's Alex with Helixx Sports. Today we're going to do a little deep dive into UFC 229, Khabib versus McGregor. Helixx Sports hosts these live streams every Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. Central Time, so be sure to tune in again next week. So yeah, today we are going into the UFC 229 event, which has sold out. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the lightweight championship fight between the current champion, Khabib Nurmagodev from Russia, versus the former featherweight and lightweight champion, Conor McGregor from Ireland. The event will take place on October 6, 2018 in Las Vegas. So if you're in the chat, I want you to comment who you think will win and why. Leave some comments below, even if you're not watching this live. And in the meantime, I will give you some background about the fight. So McGregor won the lightweight title at UFC 205 when he was the reigning featherweight champion. He never defended the title as he took some time off last year in 2017 due to the birth of his first son, and later went up against Floyd Mayweather Jr. in a boxing match in which he lost. The UFC originally planned an interim title bout between Nurmagodev and Tony Ferguson, but it was canceled due to Khabib having medical issues related to his weight cut on weigh-in day. Ferguson eventually won the interim title at UFC 216 against Kevin Lee. Ferguson was then expected to meet Nurmagodev at UFC 223, with the winner being crowned the undisputed champion. And at that time, McGregor would be stripped of his title as soon as the fight took place. In turn, it was scrapped once again for the fourth time in history as Ferguson got injured, and after several possibilities for an opponent, Nurmagodev eventually won the vacant title against Al Iaquinta. So that's a little bit of background, and now we can talk about stats. So Khabib, nicknamed the Eagle, Nurmagodev is 5'10", 155 pounds, and on the date of the fight, he'll be 30 years old. He's born in Russia. Also a two-time combat sambo world champion and holds a black belt in judo. 26 wins, 0 losses, one of the most impressive streaks in UFC fighting history, if not the most impressive. According to UFC.com, his fight history is 60% takedowns, 27% striking, and 13% submissions. Conor, the nickname on UFC was Mystic Mac. McGregor is 5'9", 155 pounds. He's also 30 years old and born in Ireland, and he's practiced MMA, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Capoeira, Taekwondo, and kickboxing. 21 wins, 3 losses. His fighting history is 78% striking and only 22% takedowns. So that's a near reversal of Khabib's history, which means there's going to be a lot of suspense in this fight. Because you have a grappler versus a striker. So everyone's going to be watching to see if the fight will be standing, which could be an advantage for Conor. But anytime that they get on the ground, that could be a big advantage for Khabib. So now I want to kind of touch on the scale of this fight. If you haven't heard about it yet, I'm sure you're going to be hearing about it very soon because it's only a month away. And the fight is actually going to be a big deal. And when I say a big deal, it's most likely the biggest and most anticipated fight MMA has ever seen. McGregor, who has headlined 4 out of the 5 top-selling pay-per-views in UFC history, hasn't fought a match in nearly 2 years, so the fans want to see him, and it's against one of the most talented fighters in MMA history. He's at a 26 win to 0 loss ratio. That's pretty impressive. So he's got a lot at stake as well as Conor. But MMA reporter Brett Okamoto said that McGregor, the McGregor versus Aldo fight during UFC 194 would be the second biggest fight when he took out Jose Aldo. When McGregor took out Aldo in 13 seconds compared to this fight coming up, the upcoming UFC 229. A number of other reporters have also agreed to some degree that this will be the biggest fight in MMA history or the most widely appealed. SportsCenter's Phil Murphy said if this card had a world tour, there would be no doubt that it would be no doubt about it being the biggest fight in history, but since Dana White says that the World Tour is not going to happen, Murphy doubts it will be the biggest ever. Still, McGregor has a ton of star power and draw going up against an undefeated fighter with a massive Russian and Muslim fan base. So now, I just want to touch on the beef between the fighters. Back in 2016, Khabib called out Conor and said he wanted to fight that Irish chicken. Conor said he wasn't interested in that fight because some injuries that he had incurred and that he wanted a big fight with a big payout. Conor also explained that Nurmagomedov wasn't fighting frequently enough to make it worth his time. But aside from that, their interactions have been mostly negative. That was negative, but aside from that sort of beginning instance, there have been lots of negative interactions, most of which have been outside the view of the public. And back in April this year, which was very known and visible to the public, McGregor, there's footage online of McGregor attacking Khabib and his crew while they boarded their bus, which ended in some minor injuries of some of the crew members on the bus, and McGregor had to pay $75,000 in bail money and served 5 days of community service. So there's enormous beef between them. You can tell that they don't like each other. There's history there. And this fight coming up, there's going to be a sort of judgment day of sorts when they come to a head, and McGregor is going to either earn back the featherweight champion title or he receives his 4th career loss to an undefeated machine of a fighter. So big reputations are at stake, and like I mentioned, you have the striker versus grappler component that will undoubtedly keep the suspense very high if both the fighters last a long time. And so between the beef, their reputations, their sizable fan bases, and the inevitable Conor McGregor signature bad-mouthing and trolling, we can expect this to be a big draw for an event. Maybe not one of the largest in revenue, but definitely one of the largest in draw and interest. Some related news to the fight. Floyd Mayweather was interviewed yesterday because it's been a year since the Mayweather-McGregor fight. Mayweather cautioned Khabib that Conor isn't scared and he will be there to fight. Mayweather also invited Conor to train at his gym, and Conor has declined that invitation. Floyd then posted on Instagram a picture of the final blow he landed against Conor with the caption reading "easiest 9 figures I ever made." So yeah, with money, we're about a month out from the fight, and the payouts and figures haven't been announced or discussed too much from what I could dig up. So we'll have to get a bit closer to see how the pay-per-view numbers are stacking up, kind of what sponsorships are still intact and who's going to be there. But it's going to be a big, interesting fight, and if you haven't heard about it yet for some reason, I know you're going to be seeing some buzz about it. So hopefully this video gives you some context, some things that you can chat about with your buddies, or if you're just, you can send this video to anyone who is, maybe you're wanting to invite them to the fight, but you want to give them some context. So yeah, I'm not seeing any questions or any comments in the chat right now, so I'll wrap it up. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. I'm going to post a link to our Facebook group and to our YouTube channel there in the comments. Please join our Facebook group. It's a fitness accountability buddies group where if you have some questions or some troubles with fitness, you can join the group and we can kind of help coach you and help you get the information that you need to make sure that you're making progress, whether it's putting on muscle or losing weight. Whatever you're interested in doing, getting more flexible, we will be able to help you out with that. So please join that and say hello. And then check out our YouTube channel. We've got lots of great videos going up every week. And you can also check out our blog at medium.com/@helixsports. And lastly, I want to tell you about our monthly newsletter. So you can go to helixsports.com, sign up for that, put your name and email in the box, and on over this weekend we will send you the code for 15% off because it's Labor Day weekend, and there will be some other announcements and kind of highlights that we put in those newsletters. So we do that every month, so go ahead and sign up for that. And with all that being said, thank you again for watching. Be sure to send this to friends. Be sure to join our Facebook group. And hope you guys are excited for the fight coming up. And if you want to share any information, go ahead and leave that in the comment section as well. And we will be looking at that up until the fight. So thank you guys for watching. My name is Alex with Helixx Sports. I will see you guys next week.